Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about graphing. Now, you can graph pretty much any function by finding a vertex first and by knowing the shape of the graph. So this particular example, we have an x squared. If x is squared, that's a parabola. So we know the shape's going to be a parabola. So let's find the vertex. So for the vertex, you go in the grouping symbols, in this case it's parentheses, switch the sign so it becomes +2. That's the x component of the vertex. Go outside the grouping symbols and you keep that sign, so it's -1. So I go over to my graph and I am going to plot the vertex. So 2, -1. Puts a point right there. Now we should find some other points. So I look to find the y-intercept. That means we put in 0 for x. So you plug in 0 and figure out what y is. So we're going to have -2 squared is 4. 4 minus 1, that's 3. So that's the y-intercept. X is 0, y is 3. So that puts a point right there. Now, a parabola has the shape. We know that it has symmetry. It has y-axis symmetry. So if I just put a dotted line here, well, that's not a very good one. That's where the vertex is. And we know that we're going 2 places to the left. Well, that means we're going to go 2 places to the right. So now that you have a vertex and 2 points, you can just connect them and you've got your parabola. Right, I have no idea how I'm going to do drawing. Let's see. Okay, not too bad. That's what it's going to look like. The vertex was right here, and then we had a y-intercept, and we did symmetry. We went 2 to the left, so 2 to the right. There's your parabola. And then once you have your drawing, you can state your domain. That's your x values. Well, this is going all the way left, all the way right. So the domain is going to be -infinity to infinity. And the range, lowest point's -1, and it's going to keep going up. So the range is going to be -1 to infinity. Here's another one. The grouping symbols this time are absolute value. Absolute value graphs are V's. So the parabola had a curve to it. Absolute value is a V. Let's find the vertex. Into the grouping symbols, switch that sign. So it's -3. Outside the grouping symbols, keep the same sign. So it's +4. So 1, 2, 3, and then we go up 4. 1, 2, 3. There's my vertex. All right, let's find the y-intercept. So we're going to let x equal 0. If x is 0, this is going to be 3 plus 4. That's going to give us 7. So we're going to go to 0, 7. Here's x is 0. And here it is. Now, this also has y-axis symmetry. So your vertex is right here. This point is 3 to the right, so we can go 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3. Now we have 3 points that we can connect to make our V. And there's our graph. And we have a visual in front of us. We can state the domain, -infinity to infinity, because it's going to keep opening and go left, right. And for the range, the lowest point's right here, which is 4, and it's going to keep going up. So the range would be 4 to infinity. Now, you need to know the shapes of all the graphs so that you can actually graph them. And in your Smartboard, the next couple of pages show you all of the graphs, what they look like. It's called the family of functions. So when we do natural logs later on this year, and when we do sines later on this year, you'll know exactly what they're going to look like. Here's the absolute value we just did. Right. One other one would be if we had to do a square root. So if you were going to do y equals square root x plus 2, and then we'll say plus 3. All right, find your vertex, same way we did before, the grouping symbols this time, square root sign. So in the grouping symbols, you got plus 2, we do the opposite, minus 2. Outside, keep it the same. So when we go to graph this, we're going to plot negative 2, 3. So I would say right around here. Now we're going to find the y-intercept. So if we let x equal 0, we have the square root of 2. Can't figure that out. So let's pick a number that gives us something we can figure out. If you let x equal positive 2, you put 2 in here. 2 plus 2 gives you 4. Square root of 4 is 2 plus 3. There we go. There's a point we can graph. So we would go over to x is 2, and then we would go up to 5, which is about here. Now the shape of a square root graph looks like this. And it just keeps on going. So that would be your graph. So you can't always get a y-intercept because it'll be a decimal. So just pick a number for x that you can get a number for. And you should also pick another one if you can. Sometimes they get really big and they're off your coordinate plane, but you should have more than 2 points when you go to graph. So you could pick 7. If we picked x equals 7, that would give us 9. Square root of 9 is 3, plus 3 would be 6. So 7, 6 could be another one that we plot. So that's going to put us over here quite a bit, and maybe this should have gone up a little bit more to get to 7, 6. So the more points you can plot, the more accurate your graph will be. All right, good luck with today's problems.